Good afternoon. I'd love to know that you're able to hear me, and I'm very excited to be here with Lia and with the group on the Transformation Now broadcast. Lia, if you can hear me, please just indicate that you can hear me and that I'm live at the moment. Yes, and we are live to go. Thank you for the invitation to join you today. I've been working for about 30 years in the field of coaching and facilitation, and I've worked with many people who are trying to make changes in their lives. This is a core theme, particularly of women who have a huge amount of responsibilities generally in life. And when we want to focus on what we're doing ourselves, when we want to ensure that we can make actual changes, there's a process where we need to put ourselves first. And I find that this is the biggest challenge, both for myself and for the people that I work with. Um, I believe that all of us can be our own mentor. I believe that we have the wisdom and the skills and the ability to help ourselves to know what it is that we need to do. As you can see, I have a particular love of Nelson Mandela, who lives right there overlooking me. There's even a picture of him here and a little model. But I really believe that he was one of the people who understood the idea of leadership, deciding where you want to go, deciding how you want to get there, and taking people with you. Not all of us have to spend 27 years in prison to get that right. And not all of us have to lead such huge mammoth tasks as stopping a system as cruel as apartheid was in South Africa. But we all have our own tasks that we need to fulfill. And if we want to create triple wins in the world, which is what I believe we all can do, wins for ourselves, for those around us, and the world, if we want to create those triple wins, we have to start with ourselves. As women, it's easy to start with the people around you and to start with the world. But if we don't transform that's stopping us inside of ourselves, we can't really get there. I wrote the book, The Mentor Within, from a lot of personal experience, but working also in tough environments, like Lia mentioned. I cut my teeth on the prisons and the ganglands of Cape Town. It wasn't an easy place to work, but as a young social worker, I believed I could change the world, or at least I could do my part in it. And coming from an activist family, I thought that this was something that people did, that you do whatever you can, wherever you can. In those days, I feel I was freeing people from prisons, from actual prisons, from asking people to be accountable for their own actions in a way that didn't destroy the community that they lived in. Nowadays, I believe I free people from the prisons in their minds. And the way to do that is to ensure that you have clarity, confidence, and commitment, the three keys to your own wisdom, to make it possible to free yourself to be the best you can be. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So thank you for this opportunity to be here. My experience over the last 12 years of living in Australia, and in fact, nearly 14 years living in Australia, and many years of living in South Africa, is an interesting one. In South Africa, there are incredible needs all the time. If you're working for social justice, you wake up every morning knowing who you are and what you're trying to do. When you live in Australia, which is the lucky country, it is a place where everybody has an opportunity, or if we don't, there is a safety net. In a place like this, there's a different kind of yearning for meaning. Some people do it in a way that sorts out their own community, their family, their particular passion. But many of us are kind of wandering a little bit in the desert, wondering what our purpose is and what our legacy is. And so we wake up in the morning going, today is going to be a good day. I'm going to promise myself to stick to the changes that I've decided to make in my own life. But it comes to the end of the day and you go, where did the time go? It comes to the end of the school term and you say, how did that end so quickly? A year goes by and you say, last year I had a bunch of New Year's resolutions, but I just actually didn't manage to make them happen. Tess, welcome onto the webcast. If you're in that position where you do make changes, but you make them slowly, or you make promises, but you don't make the commitments to fulfill those promises, you're not alone. In fact, research shows that most people don't stick to the goals that they set for themselves, and they certainly don't stick to those goals alone. Transformation is only important if you have something that has to change. If you're happy with your life, if things are going just the way you want, if you're healthy and you have a good family life, you're making a contribution in community, and you're doing what you've been put on this earth to do, there's no need for transformation. But if you've turned up in this group something you want to transform, maybe your health, maybe you want to be able to do those squats that you're being challenged to do, maybe you want to be able to do the work that fulfills you and be paid for it. Not working love or money, but working love and money. And I believe that each of us has the wisdom and the skill to know what it is that we need to do to find our particular gifts and to ensure that they can action, that they can happen. This is my favorite tool. It's a 15-minute timer. I'm actually putting it on right now for myself so that I know that I can time this particular process and finish on time. If health is your issue, what kind of health challenges do you have? Are there health challenges that you've had all of your life? Or is it a health challenge where you look at somebody else and say, I wish I could be like them? If that health challenge is clear to you, if you have clarity, and then you have the confidence to know that you can change it and the commitment to do it, it will change. By being part of a group, that's one of the main things that I would speak about. So let me take you back a step. In my book, The Mentor Within, which Lia has already introduced you to, the book speaks of the monster that we all experience. And I'll tell you a quick story which is in there in more detail. When I was working in tough environments as a young social worker, I thought I had a certain amount of leave available to me, and I'd booked my leave and I was really excited about it. And one day, as I was about to go, I was told that I didn't have the leave I thought I had. And I had a complete meltdown. I was at work. I was in tears. It was embarrassing. I was one of the national directors of the organization, but I just could not cope with the fact that I couldn't take the leave I needed. My CEO got to hear about this, and she asked me to meet her at a coffee shop the next day, which I did. I didn't sleep that well that night. I was a little nervous, but when I got there, she was the lovely, warm, supportive person I'd come to know her as. And she asked me, why is it that this has stressed you as much as it has? What's happened for you? And slowly but surely, she took me through what I call the sandwich conversation. The good stuff, all the skills that she'd noticed in me, the reason that she'd promoted me to the position I was in. And then she told me about what's holding me back. And I wasn't stepping into my leadership. I wasn't saying what I needed. I was experiencing the world as if it was happening to me rather than that I was in the driving seat. It was a tough conversation, but as good sandwich conversations go, it ended well. She set me the challenge. She said, it no longer serves you to be the victim. You have to be the driver in the life you want to lead. And when you're talking health, when you're talking transformation, when you're talking the one precious life that we all live on this earth, it is only us that can make those changes. I can make the changes for me, and you can make the changes for you. But you can't always do it alone. So that monster within that gets in your way, that is full of the naysayers, that tells you what it is that you can't do, that says, who am I to be doing this? Somebody's going to find me out. I'm an imposter. That monster we can all relate to. But if we can turn down the volume of the monster within and listen to the messages that it's giving us and try and find our wisdom through the 3 keys to wisdom, that is clarity, what it is that we need to do, confidence, the belief that we can do it, and commitment, a plan of action so that we can commit. If we can turn down the volume and find those 3 keys to our wisdom, we can access the mentor within. And that's the person, the process, the connection that we need, because that benevolent mentor is present and available to you at any time of the day or night. So maybe you're sitting up at night worrying about things. You need to still the monster within, listen to its message because it can be useful, and access your mentor within. And I have 3 suggestions of how you do that. The first is the one that I believe is so powerful and so minor as a change that you could start immediately after this half hour. Commit to this. Remember the word commitment. Commit to this and everything will shift. And it's this. If you want to be your own best manager, if you want to be in the driver's seat, you need a once a week management meeting with yourself. It's that simple. 30 minutes to 45 minutes alone in one of your favorite places. And I talk a lot in my book about my spot, which is my contemplative rock. It's in Oakley Park. If any of you know Oakley Park, it's on Webster's Lookout. And there's a little groove in the rock where I can put my foot and I can balance my keyboard or my book on my lap. I can look out over the most magnificent Georges River. In fact, I'll post a picture of where I sit. And I can make my decisions there. Often I take little cards with me and I'll write on those cards and order them on the rock. And then I'll take a photograph and that will become my process for the next while. One of the other tips related to your management meeting with self, which is not where you send emails or where you answer messages, it's time just with you. One of the suggestions there is that you ensure that when you are writing to yourself and you're taking those little messages and you're putting them up, you've ordered your planning into themed days of the week. So something like Management Monday, Opportunity Tuesday, Working Wednesday, Tribe Thursday, and Fabulous Friday. Those are mine. Management Monday, Opportunity Tuesday, Working Wednesday, Tribe Thursday, and Fabulous Friday. And you can kind of move things into those days and you wake up in the morning with the sense of today's my management day. I'm going to manage everything that needs to be done. Or today is my tribe day. And that could be, of course, selling if you're in the selling field or working with your team if you're in an employed situation. But that helps with your management meeting with self because you've got somewhere to park what you're going to do. A bench at Blues Point, seeing the Harbour Bridge. Beautiful, Tanvi. And the second thing is working directly with somebody who can hold you to account. And I call it an accountability buddy. So I have an accountability buddy for my gym. I have an accountability buddy for my writing. I have writing deadlines and I work with somebody else on that. I have an accountability buddy for my actual work. And if I take on a particular task, even in a group like Transformation Now, I will find a buddy and I'll check in with them. The most important thing is that your check-ins are short and sweet and they happen just around what you promised to do. So for instance, let's say you work as a solopreneur, like a lot of the people that I work with or that I coach. Solopreneurs often have a bunch of tasks that need to happen, but you choose 3 for that week. I'm going to make my website live. I'm going to get my CRM, my customer relationship management system, working, and I'm going to approach 2 people for the kind of work I would like to get from them. When you meet up, you ask each other, did you do 1, 2, and 3? And if the answer is no, there's no judgment. There might be a bit of a why, but then there's a plan to go into the next week. So that accountability buddy can be incredibly useful. If you're doing a design process, like for instance, you're working with the mentor within my book, and you're not getting quite through all the exercises, you can have a book buddy and work through with them. In fact, I'm working at the moment with another organization where the book is called Think, Plan, Live, Design Your Life. That book, people do need somebody to work through to design their life. My book too, I find people will go through some of the exercises, but then they will kind of stop somewhere along the way. So if you've got a buddy and you say, I'm going to be finished this chapter by this time, we're going to talk about it, great. So that was individual management meeting with self, or a retreat for one where you go away and think things through for a day, which I did for myself last week. The second one is with one other person. It could be a coach, it could be a mentor, it could be a buddy, it could be a friend, it could even be a partner. And the third one is groups, accountability groups. I'm now in my 58th month of 30-day challenges with my walking tribe. I have a walking tribe, which Lia is part of, that throughout the world, women walk for 30 minutes a day and take 10 minutes to do something specific. At the moment, the 10 minutes is miniature movements. So it could be the squats, which are not so miniature, but miniature movements for 10 minutes a day. And at the moment, this month, we're looking at a theme for every month. 58 months we've been doing this together. People come in and they leave and they come in again. But what I've learned from that is that accountability, affirmation, and celebration is amazing. It holds you to account. You're in a group right now. Use that group. Find a buddy in the group. Speak with Lia herself. Connect online. Talk to one another. And realize that by connecting both to your mentor within and connecting to a group or to a buddy, what you're doing is you're putting focus in the place that you want to have change. The obvious other point is track. Just put together a little tracker with ticks and crosses and let yourself know, stay honest, let yourself know whether you have or haven't done what you said you're going to do. We have 4 minutes left. In that time, if there are any questions, you're welcome to pop them up. But I'm going to take you through a few things that I think might be incredibly useful to you in your health journey and in Transformation Now with Lia. Firstly, if you have a pen and paper, take a moment right now to write down your 2 most passionate areas of your life. 2 most passionate areas of your life, to find an intersection. You might write it up here. So mine, for instance, is social justice and traction. And put that little crisscross up above your desk and look at it every day. It helps to keep you focused. Lia asks, what happens when you're in a funk? What happens if you just can't do it? That's why you've got 3 ways. You've got yourself going away. If that's going to get you moving, go and have a retreat by yourself. Sit somewhere quietly. It doesn't have to cost you anything. Go into an RSL and use the free Wi-Fi. Go onto the beach. Sit quietly by yourself. Write by yourself. Find a buddy and tell them exactly what's happening. I'm in a funk. I have to get out of it. Can we talk it through? Time yourselves. What's your issue? I'm in a funk. What's your issue? Well, I managed to do the stuff last week, but I've just binged badly last night and I'm so cross with myself I can't keep going. I haven't been keeping up with the squat challenge. I haven't been keeping up with whatever the thing is. But hold yourselves to account with a buddy. And if you're in a funk, groups are amazing. Good groups. Go and get rid of all those groups that are in Facebook where you remember, where they reduce your energy, freak you out, and make you feel down. They're not useful to you. But the funk, the opposite of a funk is focus. So go from funk to focus. Spend some time making that happen. Writing, putting up what you've written, even painting it, is a way of holding yourself to account. If you do choose to use the mentor within to help you through the process, there are lots of spaces to write in there. And the book is not being used properly unless it's been written all over the book. And I'd like to see that happen. You're also very welcome to talk directly to me and tell me a little bit about your monster within, either here in this group or send a little message here so that we can be of assistance in whatever way that you might feel stuck. Lia, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of your transformation now. All of us need constant reminders of valuing ourselves and ensuring that we do what it is that's good for ourselves, those around us, and the world. And I just want to say that in the book, there is a little quote that says, imagine if we allowed our wisdom within to cascade into our everyday decisions and actions. And that's what I invite you to do. Thank you.